Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So earlier this week, Darrell Valls announced that Jamaica will be placing a ban on rideshare apps such as Uber and 876 on the go. Do you think that this is a good idea, or do you think that the government of Jamaica is overreacting? We are going to talk about this right after we take a look at this video. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome content like this.
Online at onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, the Transport Minister has recommended an immediate ban on local ride-sharing applications like InDrive and Uber until a proper regulatory system is in place.
Darrell Valls made the proposal in his sectoral presentation in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
Andrea Chisholm has the details.
Passengers have been enjoying the ease of booking taxis through applications on their phones. While the benefits are obvious for both passengers and drivers, major concerns about safety.
I actually took a cabinet submission to cabinet 3 weeks ago to discuss this very matter because of the complaints that I was getting from commuters and also from industry players who are playing by the rules and paying their fees for their license, etc. And these apps are undercutting them both in fare without any form of background checks and no monitoring by the Transport Authority.
Transport Minister Darrell Valls says he has written to the police and telecom providers outlining the concerns.
I want to indicate that my recommendation as of today, which will obviously have to be vetted for legal purposes, is that a ban on all of those ride-sharing apps with immediate effect until such time as we can come to the table and work out properly how these apps will be regulated in terms of making sure that safety, background checks of the drivers are done not only by the rideshare apps, but by the Jamaican authorities.
On Monday, the police reported that the suspect in custody for the murder of 29-year-old teacher Daniel Anglin operated a ride-sharing service and has a history of sexual offenses.
This is just one of several cases that the police have had evidence that these ride-share apps have been used for criminal activity. So it's not the unfortunate loss of a life on the weekend. There are several. And with a letter from the police to the minister responsible for telecommunications, I have a responsibility to act. And I am prepared to go to the end of the world to make sure that that ban is enforced immediately.
The Transport Authority is scheduled to meet with representatives of local ride-sharing apps this week.
InDrive remains outstanding. And I'd like to point out that in addition to the government concerns about safety and security in this environment, there are issues relating to undercutting in the market where lower fares are charged. And that impacts on the tourism, the economy in general, and the threat of other issues such as money laundering and terrorism.
Discussions have begun with international ride-sharing app Uber, which has indicated a willingness to operate within Jamaica's legal framework. Andrea Chisholm.
So, as I watched that video of Mr. Vaz, this is what you refer to as virtue signaling. Mr. Vaz, they're pretty much addressing Jamaica as transport minister, trying to assure the Jamaican people that their safety is at the forefront of his ministry and what he does. What Mr. Vaz failed to tell the Jamaican people is that it's because of his ministry not doing their job why something like this would happen. So all of this pretty much showcase in the parliament trying to convince the Jamaican people that he's doing his job. If he was doing his job, this would not have happened. And I am going to explain to you why I say that. Mr. Vaz, like all of us, would have had a front row seat to see the evolution of the rideshare app, especially Uber, to see the protests that took place in New York, the protests that took place in Toronto, in France, in London. These were like international stories. And Mr. Vaz would have had, as I said, a front row seat to see all of this unfold. The protests about unfair fears when it comes on to Uber versus taxi drivers, the regulatory system that took place for like over 5 years, where countries across the world challenged Uber in terms of regulation. And as it pertained to security, that was a big part of it. So for Mr. Vaz to stand there like he's a hero now to ban the rideshare system for 1 year, that is disingenuous, because Mr. Vaz and the Jamaica Labour Party would have had enough time to see what took place in Toronto, to see what took place in New York, in London, because Uber arrived in Jamaica way after what took place in New York, what took place across America, across Canada, across England. And for those jurisdictions, for New York, for Canada, for Los Angeles, all over America, regulations have been put in place to protect people in terms of safety, in terms of fair wages and fair like fears as it pertains to transportation. So far, the Jamaica Labour Party now and the Transport Ministry to allow rideshare app, especially to allow Uber to come into their market without setting up regulation that would see to it that drivers have background check, that to see to it that in terms of fair trade and practice to protect taxi drivers, that is disingenuous, and to come on and to address the nation as if you're a hero and you're putting your foot down. It is too late for that. It's way too late for that. And in my opinion, this is going to affect everyday Jamaicans more than it will affect a InDrive or a Uber. Jamaica is a very small market when you compare it to, like, say, London, Toronto, New York, Los Angeles, Texas. There's so many big markets out there that Uber operate in. Jamaica is a very small market. And Uber, the requirement from Uber when it gets into a market is to have a reasonable new car. I think it's 8 years, and 8 years is the oldest that you can have a car. So when Uber goes to a place like Jamaica and young men or women that are in Jamaica without a job, and they go ahead and take out a loan to get a brand new car so that they can do Uber, what's going to happen to those car payments now if the government just instantly put a ban on these rideshare apps? So my belief is that this is very premature. This is just the government trying to say like, oh, we're doing something. But this is not the answer. To me, this is not the answer. Because yes, like crime is everywhere in Jamaica. There are people that get killed in taxis. There are people that get killed on a bus. You're not going to stop the bus system if someone gets killed on a bus, or the taxi system. So why not take the time? And what the government should have done from earlier is to make sure that the system was regulated, that every single driver that drives for a rideshare app would have to have a police background check. Why not just fast track and do that instead of just banning the system? What is going to happen to those payments? You know, someone in Jamaica, as I said, go to a car mart, gets a brand new car, they have a massive payment per month and they're dependent on the rideshare app to fulfill that payment. What is going to happen to those people now? So I believe that the government need to retract this and they need to fast track and make sure that people that are on these rideshare app have a like valid police check and that they go ahead and do a police background check every year. That's what they do in Canada. That's what they do in the US. That's what they do in London. Like, you have a background check every single year. So for the Jamaican government, as I said, to come now when this is their era, you should not have allowed any rideshare system to set up without regulation. And the Jamaican people cannot be suffering for this right now because people have their car payment to pay for. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Do you think that the Jamaica government have a right to just ban with immediate effect, or you think that they're overreacting? Just sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think. And remember to like, share, and subscribe as I try to bring you more amazing content.